Shana Tova, everyone. It is such a pleasure and a privilege to be with you this morning. Let's start with some song lyrics. I've worn the same skinny jeans since I was 15. It's probably nothing. Inertia. My friends say they're quitting this week to chase down their dreams. They're probably bluffing, but don't you like it a little bigger, better, but you do what you can? Don't you like it a little better when you don't understand? I was gonna save the planet, but today I got plans. I guess this is just what I am. I'm an object in motion. I've lost all emotion. My 2 legs are broken, but look at me dance. An object in motion, don't ask where I'm going, 'cause where I am going is right where I am. You said you'd break up with her, but she met your family and dating's the worst. Inertia. Now, you're not in love anymore, but you'll stick it out for like 20 years more. Inertia. I want to move out of this town, but everyone knows me and packing is tiring. Inertia. I want to be big like my plans, so why am I so tiny and why am I so mad? It's inertia. Guess this is just what I am. I'm stuck in this life and I'm stuck in these pants. This is a song, Inertia, by a wonderful trio of Jewish boys from out east known as AJR, Adam, Jack, and Ryan. Miles introduced them to me over a year ago, and I love the way they capture our humanity through a sense of whimsy. This quickly became a favorite, as I feel like there is so much truth in it. Bottom line, and to state the obvious, change is hard, and we are often reluctant to do it. We were fortunate to go and see them in concert this past July in Los Angeles, right around the time that Rabbi Booth asked me to give the sermon for the second day of Rosh Hashanah. So before I continue, I need to share a slight backstory so that you'll understand where I'm about to go next. When I was a teenager and enjoying music that others in my family didn't enjoy as much, my father and I had a deal. If I could come up with a Jewish connection to the song, I could play it in the car. Need I say that you never give a challenge like this to a creatively inclined, highly determined teenage girl? I can't tell you that it was easy at first, but I couldn't be more grateful for this push, as I truly think it has shaped me into the educator I am today. There is very little in this world now that I can't find a Jewish connection to. On the other hand, it has made it almost impossible for me to listen to music and not focus in on what could be Jewish about it. So back to the concert and the email from Rabbi. I immediately connected the lyrics of Inertia with Tshuva. That one wasn't a stretch, but it led my mind down a slightly different path, which was the contrast of inertia to the biblical text, Lech Lecha. Lech Lecha is the very opposite of inertia. It's all about getting up and going, and it's the very start of the narrative of Abraham and Sarah, the beginning of the Jewish people, and the prequel to the Torah readings for Rosh Hashanah. Lech Lecha has always been a favorite of mine. I think I resonate deeply with the concept of mishaneh makom, mishaneh mazal, change your place, change your luck. I've actually moved at least 14 times in my life, living in 9 different states, multiple cities, and many homes. There were definitely moves in there that were an attempt to escape that current version of my life. But here's the reality. Wherever you go, there you are. So experience has taught me that if personal change is what you're seeking, simply moving to a new place won't accomplish it. Interestingly, though, Lech Lecha doesn't start with a focus on where they're going, but rather where they need to leave. Lech Lecha me'artzecha u'memoladetcha u'mebeit avicha el ha'aretz asher areka. Go forth from your land, from your birthplace, and from your father's house to the land that I will show you. There are actually 3 distinct references to the where Avram and Sarai will be leaving to head to this new destiny. It's possible that the use of these 3 words to describe Ur Kasdim is to emphasize the deep roots that they have there and how difficult it will be for them to leave such an important place in their lives to follow a God that they just met to an unknown location for a supposed blessing. It's certainly a big ask, and it makes their actions that much more powerful and meaningful. But for those of you who have studied Torah with me, shameless plug for my Tanakh class on Sunday mornings, you know that I like to see these stories as metaphors for truths and lessons in our lives today. When I look at this verse, what I see isn't only the beautiful act of faith that sets the Jewish people in motion. I do see that. But even more, I see a call for tshuva. Biblical scholar Aviva Zornberg has a similar interpretation, saying that the imperative of transformation is the driving force of Lech Lecha. To leave one's place is ultimately to seek to become other. Makom, place, indicates not only physical space, but existential condition. So let's pull it apart a little. We begin with the fact that the text often doesn't translate the full meaning of the words lech lecha, but rather focuses on just lech. Lech is the verb go forth, etc. The lecha could be translated as into yourself. Putting it together, what God is saying is literally go forth into yourself. In other words, look inside of yourself and prepare for transformation. And there's specific direction around this. With each word, there is a vantage point of introspection. With each word, we can travel deeper into our inner selves. As we lech lecha, we can leave behind the pieces of ourselves that we don't want to be anymore. Me'artzecha, from your land, could be the values we've taken from the general society we live in, or from peer influence. Memoladetka, from your birthplace, could refer to behaviors from early parts of our lives that we need to outgrow but haven't really dealt with. Mebeit avicha, from your father's house, this could refer to things that are so ingrained in us that it's hard to see them, or so deep inside us that the pain in addressing them is overwhelming. This lech lecha is multifaceted and complex, but if we do it as the verse implies, we can actually reach a new land, a new version of ourselves. I love that the verse specifies that it's a land that God will show us, understanding that when we lean into the divine, the path forward for who we need to be will be evident. Reaching this new land isn't the end of it, though. The real carrot is a blessing that comes from going through this process and completing the journey. It's interesting that the blessing points towards community, making Avram's name great, and those who bless him being blessed, etc. It's not just the personal blessings of wealth and fertility. And it's not that Avram and Sarai should leave their family and friends and be alone with God, but rather there's clear indication that they will encounter others who will have impact on them and who they will impact as well, though there will be nations that are built with them and from them. But somehow, they can't do this within the community they are currently in. This is something I have always been struck by, the fact that Avram and Sarai can't become Abraham and Sarah where they are. And for this piece, I don't think it's just metaphoric. There are actually 2 distinct parts of tshuva as I see it. The first is the work we do on ourselves, but the second is having this work seen and accepted by others. I think about those of us who have gone through or are going through significant life changes in relationships, gender transitions, addiction recovery, career shifts, even smaller things that may not seem like much. But when you are entrenched in a community, trying to let go of things from your past that everyone knows about, or trying to alter a reputation you have developed, it can be near impossible to complete your tshuva. We are quick to label and pigeonhole more than we may realize or want to admit. This nature is one reason I think God simply tells them, you can't stay here. God knows they won't really be able to embrace their new selves in a place where everyone already has them pegged as they currently are. That may have worked in biblical times, but in today's world, we can't always just pick up and move when we want to make significant changes. Many of us have experienced this firsthand or witnessed it for people we care about. The response from those around us can be a source of either continued pain or profound healing. Ultimately, we need to count on the people who love us to help us complete our transformation by accepting who we are trying to become. When we give each other the room to grow and change with each other, it's like a healing balm. It's the motivation against inertia and towards Lech Lecha. It's what allows us to reach a sense of Lev Shalem, wholeness of self and wholeness of heart. Don't get me wrong, I know there are times when Mishaneh Makom may be the best solution, but wouldn't it be amazing if we didn't feel that was the only way to be accepted as the new version of ourselves? So this is my hope for all of us this coming year. Lech lecha me'artzecha u'mimoladetcha u'mebeit avicha. May we all find the strength and wisdom to search deep within ourselves, to do the work of tshuva, el haaretz asher areka, to achieve the next best version of ourselves, and to be met with the full blessings from each other of acceptance.